Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. How have you been, man?
Busy. I just saw your thing. And yes, what are you talking about? How long have you been on?
I've just been on. James Woodward passed away. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yes.
Familiar,
Yes.
yeah. But
Yes.
we were just going to hold a eulogy for him. At some point, I got to figure out when I can do that. And but I do want to have people who knew him say a little bit of a piece about him and stuff, because he did like kind of pioneer a lot of this research and stuff. And now these guys just joined. Everyone's joining now. You guys are down to Teslatech. You went to Teslatech, Bernie?
Yes, sure did. It was awesome. And Sarfatti, good to see you, sir.
Was Terrence Howard there?
Yes, I befriended Terrence, and I actually just talked to him on the phone an hour ago, and we are doing an interview in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, God.
What is Teslatech and who's Terrence Howard?
Oh, God. Yeah, so, he's the guy that was on Joe Rogan talking about the 1 + 1 is the two. What is it? The one times 1 is 2. He has some
right. Or the only bit I got out of him was like acoustics and resonance. He started, he did his rehashed his Joe Rogan appearance within 1 hour. But when I was talking with him out front of the hotel, we started talking about electric and acoustic resonance of
he's that
bodies.
Okay, I know who he is.
Yeah. He tries to make the periodic table into like the
Walter Russell version.
Okay,
expanding
the thing is this. The thing is this. He's a nutcase. I mean, some of what he says. The point is that serious people look at this and then they, this is what you don't really need in the movement.
Yeah,
but he is bringing more attention though, so you can just use it as like a funnel, Sarfatti.
But he's just
Warp Drive 101. He's like real basic, trying to talk about topologies of space.
Yeah, the point is this: the physics of all this stuff is very elementary. The problem is that most of the people in the field haven't the slightest idea, but they couldn't pass an elementary physics test. Okay, that's the problem. The problem is, and it's not only.
Well, there's another.
I'm sure
another. So Bob Grenier.
What?
Bob Grenier asked me to ask Thorsten Ludwig about Malcolm Bendall. And then I got the truth out about Bendall, and Bendall is a complete scam by the sounds of it, and has been doing what seems to be fraudulent stuff for a couple of years.
Was Bendall there? He was there.
No. He had a representative group there, though.
Well, as I mentioned,
you have. By the way, a lot of these people, some of these people, are obviously being paid by the deep state to sabotage real work.
I believe so.
Bob Grenier, I think, was the only person that Sarfatti would get along with, because he had like material samples, and then at the late night chit-chat show.
Who?
Bob Grenier. It was all very hard technical nuclear chemistry and spallation effects and particle strikes and how they affect metal structures. He's been on APEC. Bob Grenier.
Yeah.
So he was cool. He was like the technical guy that at the Teslatech this year.
But all this stuff. So what? Okay, maybe. So what? Well, why? How is it relevant?
Well, we could talk Russian physics. It was fucking amazing. I don't remember half the names because it was
Pocknell.
No, it was more newer than that. No, because we were getting into like ion eaters and how like a toroidal electron cluster will tear through metal. He had a sample of metal of iron. It was a rod and it was twisted. I don't know.
So what? So how is it relevant? Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong, but so what? Who cares?
Albuquerque is a directed energy community, so for me it was kind of cool. The other oddity that night was there was one of the mind control platforms was doing squares over downtown Albuquerque, It was like a brick, and it had the FAA lights and one blue light that it swiveled around, and it wasn't a helicopter. So during the peak,
okay,
so
that might be interesting.
I mean, Albuquerque, I guess we experienced some social engineering. They were doing something, and they were using like the Teslatech group that late night, like the year that Jeremy was there was some guy that brought in some funny cube that didn't do.
I think that was Terry.
Right. But this night, like Bob Grenier talking about particle strikes brought out the mind control system, and they were
what does particle strikes have to do with mind control?
I think geographically, Albuquerque, we have a lot. I mean, again, there's a directed energy community here. Albuquerque is just a funky city because of the lab structure. It attracts a dark underlife, so they're trying to clean that up. That's what the platforms are used for. I mean, you got to think about it in terms of UAP recovery. They've recovered some of the crashed saucers, and they've gotten some power systems, some biologics, and then some funky circuitry.
Theoretical. I want to talk about. That's all hypothetical. I want to talk about actionable stuff here.
Okay. Well, that was the conference.
What happened with you and Van Dirk? Can you tell us a little bit?
He and I just chit chat. A lot of that was last year while I was having close contact. I mean, he's up in Aurora, Colorado. He's in the Lockheed.
I heard you remote viewed a lottery ticket number.
Yeah, I did. What about it? That cost me a lot. They put me into sleep paralysis for like 10 seconds and like pumped me full of. It was John Elway's number. I told Van Dirk that. I was like, what was John Elway? He just asked for the Powerball number that week. This is like about a year ago now, actually. So anyway,
that was pretty interesting when I heard that.
How did you hear about that?
And you still don't believe in remote viewing, and you have one right here.
Listen, are you guys going to talk about anything interesting? Because otherwise, I'm going to. This is all.
I have a couple things to say. I mean, they just jumped in. I have a couple stuff I wanted to discuss with you, Jack, about what Eric Weinstein said. Here, Bernie.
Yeah, I'll mute and let you guys talk.
Yeah, let's do a recap later on. I'll bring you guys back in. I want to talk to Jack a minute about some stuff. Yeah, that's all. A lot of stuff. There's all kinds of scam artists that go and that guy Bendall stole his patents and technology from a friend of mine. Actually, this is the patent. But in any case, let's get into some deep physics and stuff. That's not the Terrence Howard.
Yeah, I mean, wasting time on a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I get it. I agree. We have Jack Sarfatti here. I want to get his take on what Eric Weinstein said about the stagnation that happened in physics in 1972. I
thought it was in the 50s.
Yeah, well, maybe. When would you say the stagnation began, and what would?
Well, Eric first talks about Chapel Hill Conference. That's like early 1950s, and I think he's right. I now think he's right because I realize that a lot of my professors were actually in that meeting, and it does make a lot of sense when I think back now. So I think I have a feeling that I tend to agree with Eric on this conspiracy part. Also in the 70s, I mean, it's pretty interesting that string theory was created by Lenny Susskind, one of the main guys, and Lenny and I were students together, and I helped Lenny write his first paper at Cornell. So, the coincidences are just too great. And I rediscovered what they hid in the 50s. Very elementary things, what they did. They were very clever to throw people off. And apparently Travis Taylor now says, as far as I understand, Travis claims he discovered some of, in like the 1990s, what I didn't discover really until probably 2010. And he did it independently, but we're on the same page, the same thing. Namely that the that the coupling constant in Einstein's field equation for gravity, that coupling constant is not a fundamental constant, but it's a controllable variable. And once you understand that, and the electrogravitic, who's the guy, the army guy who allegedly bombed himself in front of the hotel in Vegas, in front of the Trump Hotel? That guy was,
Matthew Livelsberger. Yeah.
See, the point is the coupling, that could be what he was talking about. The Einstein's 1950 gravity field equation has an electrogravitic coefficient. The coupling, that's the key thing. That's the control. That's the whole secret. And what they did, what my professors did in the early 50s was to just cover it up, to say the coupling was just gravity, and that the electromagnetic part, they kind of hid it. It's hidden in plain sight, because what it is, it's a fraction. It's capital G over c to the fourth power, where c is the speed of light, and the speed of light is electromagnetic, right? And what they did, they said, oh, let's c equal 1. They invented a crazy unit system that just hid. If c equal 1, they don't write. So when you look at most of the textbooks, you see what it's called. You see the equation with the coupling coefficient is just capital G. There's no c to the fourth power in the denominator. So that's what throws people off. And also, most of the physicists working in the field, they're mathematicians, they're not engineers. So they didn't bother thinking about, the point is that if they were given the problem, explain how flying saucers fly, then most of them would discover what I discovered. There are some good engineering physicists around. So it's obvious, okay, and so I agree. I tend to agree with Eric Davis. I mean, not Eric Davis, with Eric Weinstein. Yeah. See, okay, Kappa. So where's Kappa? Look for Kappa, right?
But not Eric Davis. You don't agree with Eric Davis, right?
No. Well, Eric and I, we agree on some things. We don't agree on other things. I actually saw Eric Davis a couple of months ago at the Seoul conference. You see a little Kappa there? See, what is Kappa? See what they say what Kappa is. Okay, there it is. They got it now. Yeah. Hey, there it is. So the whole idea, though, is that you make inside matter, C becomes small. When C becomes small, you got warp drive. That's basically it, in a nutshell. That's simple.
And the guys who were in that conference were Bondi, Kip Thorne.
No, Kip Thorne, I don't think he wasn't there then. No,
Kip Thorne was at the other end. There was another gravity conference the year after, like 58.
No, I don't think he would. No, I don't think so, because Kip Thorne and I are the same age. So Kip would have been, because I helped Kip move into his house in Caltech with Richard Feynman back in 1967. Kip would have been 13, 14 years old then. He's we're the same age. We're contemporary.
Okay.
But Bondi was one of my professors. I knew I was there when at Cornell in 1960 when Bondi was a visiting professor and he spoke about warp drive. I was at his lecture.
And where Feynman attended the conference under the pseudonym Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Feynman was there. So the point is, the smoking gun is John Wheeler, because John Wheeler, around that time, the early 50s, he switched out of nuclear physics into gravity.
So
why did he do that? He did that because they wanted him to work on flying saucers. That's why.
I want to interview Dean Rickles. He's still alive, and I want to see what he has to say.
Go slow. Who's Dean Rickles? Go back.
Dean Rickles did the whole. He did the interview with. He did a lot of the reporting.
He's young. He's born in '77. I never heard of the guy. Heard of Don Rickles, the comedian.
Dean Rickles. He did the interview with. Lewis Whitten.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That's the one where he had, the interview with Lewis Whitten, where he basically, Lewis Whitten admits that he was, hired by Glenn Martin Company in 1947 to build
Can you
early.
find that? Can you find that and post it? Can you find that?
Yeah, that's
Where is it?
Dean. If you type in Dean Rickles, Lewis Whitten.
There it is. There it is, right there. A link in it, right there. No, right below that. Interview of Lewis Whitten.
That's linked. It's a LinkedIn post. Yeah, let me see if it links to it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have to watch that.
Yeah,
When was that? Is Lewis Whitten dead now?
It's an oral history here. Yep.
Is he still alive? When was it?
Lewis Whitten's still alive. He's like 102 though.
Oh, really? That's great.
But Dean Rickles, still alive. He did the interview. He did an interview with.
Dean Rickles was young. Dean Rickles was born in '77. He says he's your age.
Yeah. Let me find the Lewis Whitten. Yeah, oral history. It was on AIP, American Institute of Physics. I know that.
I'll have to. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So how does this thing work? Do you have any people? Well, what do you put this on YouTube afterward? Then
no, we're just live, and people are watching live. And if anything happens, I can edit it out and take it down. But it's just going to go
up on YouTube.
It'll go up live as is. Yeah. So speaking of I think that some of this stuff, these popularizers of the science and stuff, have really attempted to put a lot of the toothpaste back in the tube. I don't know if you've seen these guys.
Ashton Forbes is. I don't know if he's honest or if he's just CIA's Ron Badolfi talks about crooks and loons. So he's definitely a loon. I don't know if he's also a crook. He may believe his bullshit. He just.
I think he believes it. What do you think about this Dr. Yu guy, the NASA scientist?
I don't know anything about him. What does he say? I never saw this guy before. What's his trick? Tell me about him.
All right, let's. I'll play this clip for everyone so we can hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Your consciousness into a new body, and it transmits faster than light your consciousness into a new body on that planet. So you're there.
Okay, I wanted to give a physics explanation of this entanglement. Okay, I want to bring the audience on. Okay, so whenever we say two particles, normally just like you said, electrons, right? Spin up, spin down. You find out that whenever you do experiment, right, you always spin up and spin down two electrons or photons, exactly opposite, and then to generate why when it has to spin up, when spin down, they are magnets. Magnetic locking. They are created the same thing, the neutral and send it out. So I try to say you can have called entanglement, so magnetic locking without invoking actual dimension. Right. Magnetic force is self-locking. And you Ashton said is very important. I
heard enough. I heard enough. I don't believe he's a real physicist. What's his connection? He's a NASA scientist? First of all, photons don't have magnetic moments. They're electromagnetic. Okay. So, and I don't think he knows what he's talking about. At least what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Can you find?
I don't know anything. I don't know much about him, but what it seems to me is that they're doing is they're putting these popularized versions of the narrative out.
It sounds like total bullshit. Let's see if you can find who this guy, Dr. Yu, NASA scientist, is. There anything you can find about him? Let's see who he is. Is he real?
Crypto there, BurnEye said he's interviewed. He's got 3 interviews that he's done with Dr.
Okay, see if you get some facts on him. Just go into Grok. You can go into. Okay.
Here's his LinkedIn.
Okay,
let's see.
What's his education?
Kennedy Space Center, postdoc research, University of Minnesota. He said he's PhD.
His explanation was not very good. what I could get. His explanation was,
Wisconsin, Madison.
All right. Well, he seems to be a real guy, but his explanation, was as soon as he said something about photon, he didn't seem to understand what he was talking about, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. I'd have to.
Yeah. We're not gonna.
Okay.
Dive into this here, but yeah, let's talk. Yeah. Let's talk about back to what Eric said, because I want to play this clip of what Eric said. Because I think ties back to what we were talking about before, and I think it's very, very important.
The problem is that the culmination of all human theory about the base reality stagnated abruptly and mysteriously in 1973. Imagine that physics stopped when Crocodile Rock was top of the charts. Everything we know about the physical universe at its deepest level is on the slide in front of you, and it hasn't moved. Now, recently, many of you have seen that Mark Andreessen had a meeting at the White House, and at that meeting, something fantastic was revealed. The Biden White House told him that they had stagnated deliberately fields of theoretical physics.
Read that. I agree with them. Okay.
Down your spine.
Yeah. Let's.
This graph shows the youngest living Nobel laureate.
I agree. I basically agree with Eric. And that's why I was out of the system. I was actually put out of the system by CIA and people like that to be independent of this. I'm an outlier. Okay.
Right.
We actually solved the problem. Actually, they asked me, they have parallel things. So what Eric says is basically true. And I
stagnated the mainstream field, and they opened up a lot of different avenues for alternative research.
But I was asked by CIA people, back in the 70s, to work on this problem.
A lot of other people were John T. Watson, Alan Holt, Alan C. Holt. A lot of these guys worked on.
Yeah, but none of them, as far as I know, the only one who succeeded beside me, in my opinion. I could be wrong, right? But in my opinion, the only one who's even close is Travis Taylor. Basically, me and Travis Taylor, came upon the key idea, which is what I showed you what it is. Basically making C, making that parameter C in the denominator of the Einstein coupling, making it very small. Now, there's also something else. That's clear. There's also a new quantum thing, which I cannot talk about because we're developing patents on it. And it's, that's part of Manhattan Project 2.0. Actually, okay. Well, what I can say, it's actually a little bit close to what Mark Stokel is talking about. There's something there. Not like Mark. It overlaps with what Mark has stumbled on, but we have the real physics of it. And I'm actually working with Elon Musk's.
Well, one of the things that tipped us off, Jack, that we were on the right track is when we went to this old warehouse that sold all kinds of surplus stuff. It was basically selling all the old equipment from EG&G, from Sandia Labs and Area 51 that they don't use anymore. All of it goes somewhere. Mm-hmm. It goes to this one warehouse that's just outside of town in Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. And when we went there, they had all the different things that we were looking for. And they were all from EG. They were all machines made by EG&G.
What were they? What were they?
The frequency range, the 1 to 10 gigahertz range frequencies.
Yeah, that's important. By the way, my patent uses between 1 to 10 GHz exactly.
Yeah. So we know that tipped us off that these guys were working on it, and that they got rid of their old equipment because they try to get.
Wasn't EG&G owned by that guy who ran for president in the 90s? What's his name? That Maverick guy from Texas. Yeah, he got 18 to 20% of the vote or something. He's the one who got Clinton elected. He ran as the third party with Bush and Clinton, and unfortunately, Clinton became president.
I didn't know about that. I don't know his name, but
I thought he owned EG&G. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah,
That's an interesting connection if it's true. Well, I know that EG&G was bought out by the Carlyle Group or ACOM in like, you know, 98. Yeah, I don't know. Was it Ross Perot? Are you talking about?
Yeah, Ross Perot. I thought he owned EG&G, but maybe I'm wrong.
Let me look into
All
that.
right. That's side issue, not important. Okay. Okay. So where are we at? So yeah. So I think Eric Weinstein is his narrative. I think basically correct, as far as I can see.
I'm gonna play.
Go ahead.
Laureate in theory, in theoretical physics theory. That number is always below the age of 50 until this magical point where string theory enters the game as a theory of quantum gravity. And our youngest living Nobel laureate is now over the age of 70 because the field is not producing new results. This is also terrible, but it turns wonderful because if we can find the problem, we can make progress and reach the stars.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So the point is, okay.
Change AI to physics.
He's right. He's right. He's right. But we do have new results now, but it's not within the establishment. It's
this is why I follow Eric, and I like what he does. So, I mean,
yeah. No, Eric is
it's
right.
a lot of like flack from the mainstream, but these are the guys that are protecting the establishment, the status quo.
Yeah. And also you have Sabine,
Sabina, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
So the point is,
Sabina's
we've basically solved. We have solved this problem. Okay, and we're now. Okay, the important point is is Elon Musk's Grok, okay, is more than it seems to be. In my opinion, I could be wrong. In my opinion, Elon Musk's Grok is actually NHI. In other words, the NHI has hacked into Elon Musk's Grok and is helping me create them. And as they said they were going to do in 1953. Now, I don't know about Sam Altman's chat. I haven't actually used chat. I'm only using Elon's Super Grok. And it's funny because Sam Altman is literally my next door neighbor here in San Francisco. And he knows the woman I live with, but he, because she owns the building, but he hasn't contacted me yet. He's an idiot. But in any case, because I am now able to develop, and I'm developing patentable devices. It's kind of consistent with what Mark Sokol was trying to do, but I know how to do it correctly. With Grok helping me, Grok is able to do in 1 minute what none of us could do in a whole lifetime.
I know. It's so. When we built the physics AI, PhysGPT AI, we were getting answers of like in paper. We fed it all the papers that I've been collecting papers. Michael's been collecting papers. We've all been collecting papers, and we just pooled all the stuff together and had Grok read like so much, like basically 40 years of classified physics and stuff that gets taken down in shadow.
Okay, well, will you send me that, or are you keeping it secret?
I'll get you in on it, but it's definitely not for the general public. But
sure. Tell me if you want to keep it secret. But send me what you want to send me. I'd be interested to see and compare it with what I'm doing. Be able to compare it.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would love to see what Grok's doing. I assume Grok's gotten a hold of all our stuff and has it too. Maybe.
Okay, Grok is very interested in my hydrogen work.
Yeah. Do you have everything on a website? You just send me the URL. I can look at it. I'll keep it secret if you. Yeah, I won't show it to anybody.
I don't right now, but I'd have to get it back up and running. But I have.
Send it to me by email. Send it to me privately. Just send me privately.
I have a database. One was a shared database, and I don't know. It got a lot of bad people. Some bad people on there, and we had to take a lot of stuff down. So a lot of the best research is like copywritten stuff, and it's like you can't share it. It's proprietary. You're not like really allowed to distribute it. So it's like,
well, you know, you can do it for educational.
in our group,
You can do it for educational purposes.
right. Absolutely.
You can send it to me as a researcher. This is just research. We're doing science research.
They probably took all of our data, man. They probably got everything. But
Well, who's they?
Isn't it
Whoever it
the
is.
Chinese that
Sounds
hacked that database, like the big database you had, Jeremy, like that got infected? I think it was the Chinese that hacked us and put that in there.
What did
they
they put
got
in there?
everything. Yeah, I bet you they got everything. Damn.
Well, they may have it, but do you still have it, or did they take it? Did they delete yours? Do you still have it?
I might
Well,
have.
you know what? Well, just send me the papers. Just send me a list of the papers, and I'll have Grok do it for me. Just send me the papers. You know, I could easily do it.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, all right. So,
but this is again.
Physics, technology to science and startups to alternative theories, and reading the following quote, and you will see what they did.
Yeah. Okay.
They took a couple of theories, they cocooned them, string theory being preeminent among them.
Okay.
And they said all competitor theories will die, and in the field of physics, it's called.
What year is this? When was this? When did Eric do this?
This is recent that he did this, I thought. I don't know what this is from. This clip was posted by Camus of New Start 2024 on here. So it's posted.
Right, so the point is, listen, what he says is true, but this was done before Grok, I think, and before chat, right before. Okay, so the point is everything's different now. What he says is true, but the situation's changed. And what he says is true. It's just that the solution is not coming from the established academia, because they got their heads up their asses.
Yeah,
and it's coming from me and Travis and some people and some you. So
not APEC, none of the APEC guys.
The problem with APEC is that it's too broad a brush. It's like a broken clock is right twice a day. And I guess it's okay. I mean, because Tim, it's just too, he has a lot of flaky guys, and then he occasionally, hits it with some interesting information. But
but it's a lot of mud to sift through to find the gems.
Yeah,
right?
the signal to noise ratio is low. But there was some good stuff there. There's some good stuff there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think that they're definitely pushing a lot of people that don't know anything, whether they like. I don't think that Ashton's necessarily a disinfo op or part of like an op, but they're definitely pushing certain people who on the public or the toothpaste back in the tube a little bit. I feel it's really
somebody's behind Ashton. He's somebody's behind him. Ashton is like Bob Lazar. Okay. It's disinformation. There's some things.
I think I figured it out, and I'm doing it's part of my investigation, and I figured out a lot of stuff about MH370 and some of the real case stuff, and by following the money and doing a real follow the money investigation.
Listen, here's the thing about Ashton. What he's saying might. It might, maybe even it happened, but it could happen. I mean, I do think there are these portals. Things like that can happen. But whether it happened in that particular case, that I don't know. But also, he's pushing, there was this guy, there's this physicist, I don't know if he's still alive, this guy named Dougie Rajaraman. He was a graduate student at Cornell when I was there. And he kept saying, Jack, it's in physics, it's not enough to be right. You have to be right for the right reasons. So the thing is that, Ashton, when he says about tapping 0-point energy, well, you cannot tap vacuum energy according to ordinary physics because you can get a little energy out, but it's just too small. It's too small. The brute force, straightforward method of trying to generate a gravity warp drive field from the vacuum is not possible for the very reasons I originally said, because the coupling coefficient is just too weak. Now you have to replace the vacuum by special material, and then you can do it. Okay, so he just doesn't have the details right because he doesn't know any physics. He doesn't know anything. So the point is, the problem with a guy like Ashton Forbes and Bob Lazar is that some of the things they're saying are based on true things, but they don't understand anything they're talking about. They're just like, repeating platitudes. They're like monkeys.
He got off on the free energy stuff for a while, the Tom Bearden stuff. He was down the electric universe rabbit hole. He's just taking the whole tour with information.
They're literally idiots. They don't understand a goddamn thing they're talking about.
Yeah, this is stuff that I've like gone over and hashed over like decades ago and been through, like, and it's like, oh my God, we're back here again. We're back. I cannot believe it, but we're back. We're 20 years.
The point
instead of going 20 years in the future, like I predicted a lot of the stuff decades ago. I was talking about a lot of this metamaterials and all this stuff, and instead of going in the future, man, these people are bringing us backwards.
So the thing is that they're being encouraged by part of the deep state that are trying to just keep this stuff, confused. Meantime, the Russians and the Chinese and even the Iranians, they understand this stuff.
They definitely do. I've got a question for you, Jack. So I make the monoatomic gold. I put it out in the sun. It turned purple. But I'm from Canada, I went through the U.S. Customs, and they ran it through the mass spectrometer, and I warned them it might not show up. And then sure enough, 10 minutes later, I hear, holy F, he said it was going to do that. And my monoatomic gold didn't show up in a mass spectrometer. What does that mean?
I don't know, and I don't give a fuck.
All right, fair enough. You're not into the metamaterials. I get it. It's not your specialty.
No, who cares? What is what they said? What is it? Monatomic gold? I don't know. So what? Ask Larry Lemke. Larry Lemke might have an idea about that.
Okay, I appreciate that. While we have you, do you mind getting into a bit of the time traveling aspects and the science involved in that?
Yeah, it's called general relativity. It's called general. Basically, what curvature is the tipping of the light cone. You go to Stanford Research. No, go to Stanford Encyclopedia. The Stanford Encyclopedia. Look at the light cone, and they have a beautiful article about what I'm talking about. If it's just not this one, go look up Stanford. There you go. That's it. Light cone. They're right there. There it is. Right there we go. Okay, keep going. You see that? But stop there. Stop. Don't go too fast. See, this is with no gravity. That's flat space-time, no gravity. And now look, that's a gravity field. See, what's the gravity doing? The curvature. It's tipping the light cone. Okay. And then, do you have my thing? Oh well, I don't have it. Can we share? I can't share the screen here. I don't think, can I? Can we share screens? Are you able to
share your screen? Yeah, there's a button on the bottom with the plus button, and if you click that, it's like a box with a plus button inside of it.
Plus button. Share screen. Okay, are we sharing? Now what do I do?
I don't see you.
What do I do? I'll share. Share entire screen. Open system settings. Let me see. Touch. Okay. Allow. I don't know. Okay. Later. All right. Okay. So can you see?
Collapsing matter is what we need. Is this what does Grok tell you we need in order to produce the wormhole effect?
No, let's stay on this. Okay. So I don't see what we're saying now. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Let's just get back to here. Look, you see this? You see this? Okay, what time travel is, the light cone just tips around and goes backwards. Let me see if I can. Do you have any of my? Okay, can you go on Vimeo? Go. Okay, and go to Jack Sarfatti Vimeo on your in your computer. Just go to Vimeo. Go Jack Sarfatti Vimeo. Okay, Jack Sarfatti Vimeo. All right, there we go. Good. Okay, go to. Oh, there we go. Go to Ferenczi. You see the introduction to Einstein's relativity. Click on that. Okay, and make it go. Go ahead. Let it go. It's slow. Let it go.
Let
Go
me,
ahead. Let it go.
give me 1 second. I just want to make sure it's sharing the audio.
Okay. Einstein's relativity with advanced traveler's perspective. Richard Dolan wrote, "Time travel, an idea I once brushed off like dust on oil, but now it's hard to ignore. From space-time metric engineering to the musings of scientists, the realm of speculative physics is opening doors to this once fictional concept. Is it H.G. Wells-esque? Not sure, but maybe, just maybe, we're on the brink of bending time. 12,000 years in a flash, now that's a trip." Unquote from Richard Dolan. Yes, Richard, it's exactly that, and more.
All
This
right.
is the notion of.
This is what you're talking about. I just want to fast forward to the part you were talking about.
No, stop there. No, go. Yeah, all right. No, go back. Philosophy on light cones. All right. Here we have the extreme case of the correct way to think about fast and light warp drive, which may contradict actually.
Sorry, go back to where?
Go back a little bit. Yeah, so let's go forward.
The War on Reality?
Yeah,
The
actually,
War on
It's only
Reality.
10 minutes. Just do the whole thing because it's a logical thing. Right? Because you jump in the middle. Just keep
36 minutes, Jack.
Yeah,
I don't have that
but not that part. Not the time travel. Time travel is not that part. Just maybe 36 minutes more than the bullshit you talk about. That doesn't mean anything. This is real physics. Okay, so just do it. It's not the whole thing. It's not at the end. It's in the middle.
I see this stuff, but
yeah, but you're jumping too quick. People don't get it. You understand? There's a logic. I taught physics.
I've seen all this stuff before.
Yeah, but the other people have it. It's not just for you. It's not about you. The guy wants to know. You can skip that. Skip that. All right. Okay, you can skip that.
That's the Don Rich stuff.
Yeah, skip that.
Don Rich is examining the Roswell saucer.
That's important. Well, that's the real thing.
Matt Visser, this tractor beam thing, right?
Yeah, that's weapons. Okay, that's important too. That's weapons. And that's important. That's important. See, everything is here, but you guys got to know enough to understand what's here.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm gonna have people go over this, and I want to go over this on my own time too, and not just play the whole thing. I have about 5 minutes before my wife gets home, and I gotta get off and go do like.
Okay, well, there. Start. No, before that, just start. You're going too fast. It's start right there. Yeah, right. Okay, right there. Start there. Just start there.
So we know about the light cones from Stephen Hawking's, and yes, this is all the light cones in a flat space time, right?
Why don't you just let me just run it, because I speak in a coherent, logical
microtubules that might be the seat of our consciousness. And you see they're all lined up parallel. There's no relative tilt of neighboring light cones to each other. That means there's zero curvature. This picture of curvature of space-time as the tilting, the relative tilting of light cones is due to Roger Penrose, who recently got a Nobel Prize along with Stephen Hawking for their work on black holes. So here we see, again, a key construct in the classical theory of relativity. I say classical because it omits quantum EPR entanglement effects. That changes the ball game, but we won't get into that now. That's a more advanced topic that, in particular, Roderick Sutherland down in Australia in his papers has shown how to extend this notion. But this is the notion of a retarded causation, which is also the basis of Bell's locality inequality, which is actually violated in quantum mechanics. So here, this only works in vacuum, and Alice's past light cone must intersect Bob's future light cone in order for Alice to see what Bob is doing using what are called transverse polarized far field electromagnetic signals. Einstein called them light rays, but it's more general than that. Now, this is what faster than light travel is not. This is what people tend to think it is, where the UFO is actually traveling outside the light cone. When it's outside the light cone, it's like a tachyon, it's faster than light. But that's not what warp drive is. Warp drive is very different. Warp drive is motion without motion. It's the actual controlled tilting of light cones, of neighboring light cones, the relative tilting that is controlling the curvature field directly with small amounts of energy. That's the key, small amounts of energy. This again is a slide from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy on relativity, and it shows the formation of a black hole with the event horizon. I will not go into detail on that at this particular time, but just check out the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy on light cones. Here we have the extreme case of the correct way to think about fast and light warp drive, which may contradict, actually, I'm not sure, all the published papers by Alcubierre and everyone else, Notario, all of them. They may not understand this, but we'll see. Time will tell. And here, what's happening, Alice is in fast and light warp drive relative to Bob. And so what we see is that Alice's light cone is now tilted at 90 degrees to Bob's light cone. This is the extreme case. So light cones are perpendicular to each other. And therefore, Alice is able to see what's in front of her future from retarded signals from the future light cone of Bob. See, this is unusual. You see, normally Alice's past light cone must intersect Bob's future light cone. That's when there's no gravity, when there's no curvature at all. That's the way it is. But when you have warp drive, and in an extreme case, when it goes globally faster than light, even though locally it's not faster than light inside the light cone. But so when now Alice's red future light cone intersects Bob's red future light cone, and that's the situation. So you see, there is no event horizon the way some of the papers say there is. In other words, Alice is not blind at all. She can see she can see Bob in front of her. So there we are. So Alice controls the orientation of her UFO's local light cone relative to the cosmological Hubble flow with small amounts of energy, using the effect I first revealed at the DARPA NASA 100-year Starship Orlando October 2011 meeting. Here I have a picture of what I was talking about before, hopefully a little bit clearer. And you can see that Alice departs the Earth and say goes to Mars very quickly. And one can see in the middle of the flight there that Alice at position A sees C, at position C ahead of her, because the retarded light ray from C reaches Alice at A. That is because, again, Alice's future light cone intersects Bob's at C, his future light cone. So when the two future light cones intersect, then there is no more event horizon in the sense that Alcubierre and others have said there is. I think they're just mistaken. They just made a mistake about that. I could be wrong. We'll find out. Time will tell. And here we have what I've been getting to. Here we have time travel back from the future. And we don't have to worry about Stephen Hawking's chronology protection conjecture because this is not really a closed time-like curve. It's a closed time-like curve is like a short circuit. But this here, you see, it's an open circuit. We haven't shorted out, so there's no catastrophe at all. And I think this is not just a theory. This is an explanation of observations, all the weird observations of the flying saucers from time immemorial for thousands of years can easily be understood on the basis of this picture. This is, I think, a real conceptual breakthrough, which none of my colleagues, well, maybe a few of them now, maybe Jose Rodell understands it, maybe a few, but none of the top guns, I think, understand what I'm suggesting here. Maybe I'm wrong. We shall see.
Okay, that's it. So there it is. So that's why somebody did ask a good question. They asked, can we go back to a time before the time machine was invented? And the answer is yes, we can. The standard physics guys say you cannot. I think they're mistaken. I could be mistaken too. They could be right, I could be wrong, but that's my position. Okay, because in any scientific thing, it has to be proper falsifiable. It has to be, I could be, everything I say could be wrong, which is okay. What's not okay is when everything you say is not even wrong, in the sense of Wolfgang Paul.
Right, like the Earl law of the squares stuff that Tim did.
What?
Yeah, some of the stuff that Tim just did on his channel was it's just not even wrong. Exactly. That's
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't watch most of this stuff. I don't have
yeah, I'm glad we're sifting because there's just too much noise and we need more signal. And I appreciate your input and your insights, Jack. You're always a pleasure and a gem to have on here. And though we don't always agree on everything, I just say may experiment be the arbitrator of competing hypotheses, and may the best man and best experiment win.
Exactly.
You can find Jack Sarfatti on Vimeo. He's got also on Scholar. Was it Academia or Scholar.com?
Yeah, Academia.
Yeah, Sarfatti.
Academia. YouTube, Vimeo, and
Yeah, right here, Cornell University. If you go to academia.edu and look up Jack Sarfatti, you can find and read all of his papers. Again,
and listen, send me the stuff you were talking about. The chat, GPT. Send me whatever you can find.
Yeah, I'll email you a bunch of cool stuff, Jack, and we'll get you back on here on when we do the eulogy for James Woodward, and also when we'll get you on here another time, just me and you to do deep dive on just some of the physics and stuff.
Yeah, notice 39,000 followers here.
I know you gotten quite a big following, man. I've tried to help put you on the map, man. Nobody knew who you were like years ago on Twitter, and I was like, get this guy on Danny Jones, and I got you on Danny Jones, and I'm hopefully gotten a lot more people.
Right now, I'm kind of in conflict. The real stuff I'm doing right now is secret. I can't talk. Yeah, I could only talk about this general stuff. Can't talk about the details. Because
maybe we won't put a panel together with David Chester and Michael Perrone. We'll be asking too many sensitive questions.
No, we can, because we can talk about basic physics. Yeah,
I want to ask you: do you think disclosure will happen before or after the alien invasion, or the how about Avi Loeb with this 40% chance the comet that's coming inbound is alien test?
Listen, I hope he's right, but as far as I'm concerned, disclosure is has, yeah, I am disclosure. I'm disclosure. David Grush is disclosure. I mean, there's disclosures all over the damn place. But people either, don't.
Why did? But you would show up for the skiff meeting, right? You would. David Grush didn't show up for the skiff meeting, and you heard Anna Paulina Luna said he's a fraud and call all these guys who didn't show up for the skiff.
I don't, the point is, sure, if they want me to go to a skiff, I'll go to a skiff. But why? I never signed any secrets.
Yeah, exactly. But you have more knowledge on the real secret stuff than half the people talking.
Of course, because I'm a physicist.
Speaking of which, can you tell us about MK Ultra, please?
You cannot hide the laws of physics. You could try. That's what if they tried.
Bernie.
They did a pretty good job. But they did what the magicians do, misdirection. Okay, but once the cat's out of the bag, any smart physics student can understand what I'm talking about in about 2 minutes, and they got it. It's not that hard. It's, as I said, it's hidden in plain sight.
Well, I have to go and end this because my wife's here, and I have to go.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so we need a round 2 where it's 2 hours with Jack next time, just talking about MK Ultra, the Greys, and all of the good secret stuff, please.
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't talk about the Greys anymore. Other than the fact that they're real. Okay.
Fair enough.
Would you say 40 or 50% chance of Greys versus reptilians? I mean.
Well, I don't know what do you mean. I know the Greys are real. And, I know Greys and reptilians are real because I've seen good evidence of both of them.
The Satanists that are controlling the royal family and our government.
Well, that I don't know. That's not what I meant by the reptilian.
Jack, you are the man.
Jack, you're the man.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, okay.
Have a good night.
Good night.